From coffee to shampoo to hand sanitizer, First Stop Shop is your one-stop, conveniently located at the nearest Delta Petroleum gas station.
Delta Petroleum, serving the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us here on THG Network. This is THG News Today with Mervyn Henley. We are broadcasting for Friday, April 19th. Thank God it is Friday. Thank you to Carl & Son St. Maarten, Delta Petroleum, and Ephesus Onivas for being proud sponsors of today's news. I encourage you, if you have not done so already, to please subscribe to our channel. We continue to grow day by day, and it's because of your continued support by subscribing, liking, commenting, and because of the support that some of you will give right now by subscribing to our channel. So thank you very much. Now, I want to share with you that on Fridays, may not be every Friday, but we will begin to conduct interviews, and whether it's with politicians, people in the community around the Caribbean, you name it. And again, this will be done at 6 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time. I just want you to be aware of that so you're not surprised when one Friday you come here and you realize that we're doing interviews and not the news. So just to bear that in mind. Now, let's get started with the news. We begin with St. Kitts, where there was 3 shootings in 24 hours and 2 dead. I believe it was yesterday we saw a murder in the afternoon in broad daylight in Newtown, same as the night before in the same area almost. And then police, they're investigating a shooting homicide that occurred on April 17th between 8:30 and 9 p.m. at Newtown again. Having received reports of the shooting, police and other law enforcement officers responded to the scene and observed 18-year-old Crisbel Rivera, a male national of the Dominican Republic who resided at Carty Valley, Newtown, just laying there motionlessly on the ground with multiple gunshot wounds about the body. Initial inquiries indicate that Mr. Rivera was approached by an armed assailant who fired several shots in his direction. Mr. Rivera was subsequently pronounced deceased at the scene. Hours before that, the police, they are also investigating another shooting incident which took place in Wade Street in Keon. And the incident happened on same April 17th between 11:30 p.m. and 12 midnight. The incident left 34-year-old Devon Norford of Lovers Lane, Keon, with multiple gunshot wounds about the body. Of course, the police officers, they responded to the scene and observed and spoke with Mr. Norford, who reported that he had been approached and fired at and by an armed assailant. Mr. Norford stated that he fled in the direction of the Keon police station to seek assistance. He was soon thereafter transported by emergency medical services, first to the Mary Charles Hospital in Molyneux, then to the Jane France General Hospital for treatment of his injuries. Mr. Norford has since been warded in stable condition. I don't know what's happening. What is happening? Again, what worked then that is not working now? Is it too many chiefs and not enough Indians? Is it too many folks seated in a police station scrolling through Facebook day and night waiting for a complaint to come in, and not enough officers on patrol in every nook and cranny on St. Kitts? What is it? Why are we at this place again? And so I want to encourage the government to become more forceful and intentional. And another thing, you can't tell me that you can put up roadblocks for hours to stop people because drivers, that is, because they have tint on their vehicles. But you can't find a solution for crime. And all these hours having people late for work just to stand up there to embarrass them, just to take off some tint off of their vehicle, while criminals are somewhere getting away with murder, literally. So you invest all this time blocking roadways all over the place, not looking for criminals, mind you, but because you want to ticket somebody and make a few dollars for tint. But you make a few dollars there, but you have violence, real serious crimes committed elsewhere. So you're absent there where you're needed, but present harassing most of the people, hardworking people. Yes, they have tint on their vehicle, but is that so much more important than finding ways and solutions for this crime that you have on St. Kitts? And when are we going to become proactive instead of reactive. And yes, the buck stops with the Minister of National Security, who is the Prime Minister, and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. But all of us, all of you, all of us, we have a role to play, from the community to the church to the schools, our behavior, you name it. But you gotta prioritize, and you gotta prioritize, and you have to rearrange some stuff, and you can't make tint the major priority, taking off your tint. These gunmen, they're not, you know this now. They come out at night, well, broad daylight for some of them. They're not in these vehicles like that. They're in the nook and the cranny, the corner streets, the villages, inside the villages. Come on, let's get this under control. I mean, this is what, the 11th murder for the year? No, not good. And speaking of homicides, and here we have a Prime Minister in St. Lucia, Honorable Philip J. Pierre. I am not sure if he knows what else to do, and you're going to understand why I say that. Out of St. Lucia, Prime Minister and Minister for National Security, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, expressed outrage at the homicide toll in his country. Prime Minister Pierre reiterated that gang violence is a regional issue and that there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. This is a situation that seems to be enveloping this entire region, and that's not an excuse, but it's a fact, Pierre added. A series of killings, which started in March 2023, are said by law enforcement to be the direct result of gang warfare. While the police say they are working assiduously to arrest the situation, homicides continue, Prime Minister Pierre charges anyone with the solution to the current situation to step up. He says if anyone can present an ironclad solution, he will make them National Security Minister. Okay, the sarcasm is not necessary. I understand, Mr. Prime Minister, that you're under stress, you're frustrated, but you don't have to talk about being kind of dismissive with your sarcasm about if anyone can come up with a solution, you will make them National Security Minister. I know you're frustrated, but chill. And he went on to say, what I'm saying to you is that if there is anyone who has ideas, who has any tool they can use, I will do it. I'm open to it. I'm opened up to commentators, all politicians, all sociologists, all psychologists, anyone who can tell the government what to do to help in the issue of crime, I will do it. The PM's statements follow calls from the United Workers' Party for him to resign as National Security Minister. In response, Pier says a combination of police force and social interventions are needed to curb the current crimes trends. We continue to give the police all the resources that we can afford at this time. He's just basically going on and on and on, and out of frustration because of the crime situation. But I want to remind Honorable Prime Minister Pierre, along with prime ministers around the Caribbean who are complaining about crime and who are frustrated about crime and who are talking about, oh my goodness, I mean, we're trying everything. What do you guys want us to do? Do you want to be the National Security Minister? Do you want to lead this country? We have tried everything. But I want to remind these leaders, when you were in opposition, I'm just saying, when you were in opposition, you had all the answers. You said you can solve this. You offered solutions you offered strategies and solutions that you can do a better job than who was in government. So then if you promise to do a better job, then you better do your job and you better get it right. You said, and that's why the people hired you, because you said you can do the job and you'll get it right. So then do it. Now, let's go back to St. Kitts with some information on the political scene. And this according to a WinFM report with the outgoing leader of the People's Action Movement, Honorable Sean Richards, announcing that he will not seek re-election as leader at the party's convention in June. The future of the political party has become a pressing issue in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Who can lead the PAM to an election victory following the demise of the Team Unity construct and their loss at the polls in 2022? The political party has not shared who has decided to throw in their hat for the race, but a circulated poll on social media, which is garbage, by the way, that they did. That was all orchestrated by someone who has an agenda with one of the contenders in these polls. But anyway, let's continue. A social media suggested 5 names for possible candidates for the new leader of the party. PAM's deputy leader, Natasha Shani Gray-Brooks. PAM's deputy leader, General Powell. PAM chairman, Azad Gums. And then the poll mentioned Carleen Henry Morton and the PAM Public Relations Officer Laverne Keynes. However, regional pollster and political analyst Peter Wickham believes that the PAM should form another coalition for a viable chance in the next election. Wickham cited other alliances around the region to support his argument. According to Wickham, I often hear when people are talking about working with Harris, and I hear people saying he's done so many bad things to so many people and created enemies. I'm just saying to myself, but what exactly is the relevance of all of that? I'm not telling you to marry the man. I'm telling you to work with him in a political party. My view is that a coalition will work and stick in a situation where people are politically mature enough to understand that this is the only way they can get hold of power. The PNM in Trinidad and Tobago was a coalition initially, and the PNM is now one of the most credible political forces anywhere in this region. The PNM started out in that way. The United Labour Party in Grenadines was a coalition that Ralph Gonsalves cobbled together with one other person. School them, Peter, school them. And people don't even remember that that was initially a coalition. And that was worked well, and that has worked well, largely because it's won 5 elections back to back. Peter Wickham continued his schooling. In Antigua and Barbuda, the UPP started out as a coalition of forces, UNDP and different other political parties. And again, now people don't remember. When a political coalition or alliance or whatever you want to call it gets to the stage where it can deliver something that you can't deliver on your own, it will work and it will stick. So this idea that it doesn't happen is rubbish. The fact is that it worked on St. Kitts. It delivered to the government not once but twice. And the fact that it broke up had nothing to do with the fact that the coalition wasn't working. It had everything to do with the fact that the individuals involved were politically immature and were having some issues that they couldn't resolve. The evidence is in 6 years that you won 2 elections. What more evidence can you want than that, according to Peter Wickham? Do you realize that you had a landslide victory 2 years before the government collapsed? I mean, it is tragic that after having a landslide in an election where you guys knew what the reason that you did so well was because you were able to conquer the overseas vote, you put yourselves into a position, in a situation with borders open a year later. I mean, it's a level of political folly that I have not seen in a long, long time. People give you a landslide, and you know the only reason you got a landslide was because you were able to close borders for COVID. But it was a perfect storm for you. And then you put yourself in a situation a year later where, because of internal fighting, you say, okay, we're going to break up this. And then now persons will say, okay, we're going to break up this. And then now persons will say, but what's the evidence? The evidence was the election before the last, which to me was a true reflection that coalitions can work, and a coalition the PAM will need to make, according to Peter Wickham, renowned political pollster. You can say what you want about Peter Wickham, but he's making sense in some regard. And the only reason why, well, I'm not even going to go there this morning. All I am going to say, the People's Action Movement, I don't care who you form your coalition with, except for one party that is still in government somewhere and have you out in the cold trying to get in. And you may get in or you may not get in for another 20 years because of one political party in Nevis. That's the CCM party. That's why you're out right now. And some of you in PAM, you can't seem to face that hard truth. Yes, you can blame people in your party, but you were also influenced by the CCM. And look where you, CCM laughing with Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew. Having a ball with Dr. Terence Drew. When you guys were together, you fought tooth and nail to keep out Dr. Terence Drew and the Labour Party. Now the CCM party is asking you, who are you? Who named Pam? Y'all, if y'all ain't learn now, y'all ain't gonna learn again. Y'all ain't gonna learn again. News from St. Maarten. In a significant breakthrough, St. Maarten Police Force has arrested a suspect believed to be linked to a series of violent armed robberies that have plagued the community. The investigation unfolded through close collaboration with the Public Prosecutor's Office. In an operation conducted in the early hours of Wednesday, detectives executed the arrest in the St. Peter's area, leading to the capture of an individual. The apprehended suspect has been under suspicion for his alleged involvement in multiple armed robberies across the island. Through diligent investigation and surveillance, law enforcement officers were able to gather substantial evidence linking to the suspect to these criminal activities. At approximately 5 a.m. on Wednesday, officers moved swiftly to execute the arrest at the suspect's residence, and he was promptly taken into custody and transported to the police station for further interrogation. Following the arrest, a comprehensive search of the suspect's residence was conducted, resulting in the seizure of a firearm and other items believed to be connected to the robberies. While this marks a significant breakthrough in the case, the investigation remains ongoing as authorities continue to pursue leads and gather evidence. Yeah, and that's what is happening on St. Maarten. And quickly, before we end the news today, also on St. Maarten, the police is investigating a disturbing ill treatment incident at the prison facility in Point Blanche. On Monday, April 15th, personnel from the detective department was alerted to an incident involving the ill treatment of a prisoner by another inmate. According to initial reports, the victim sustained slash wounds to several parts of their body during the altercation. Immediate medical attention was administered, and the victim was swiftly transported to the St. Maarten Medical Center for further treatment. Upon receiving the complaint from the victim, detectives promptly initiated an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the incident. According to the police, our investigative team is diligently working to gather evidence, interview witnesses, and piece together the events that led to this distressing occurrence. The safety and well-being of all individuals within our jurisdiction, including those within correctional facilities, are paramount to the St. Maarten Police Force. Any acts of violence or mistreatment will be thoroughly investigated, and appropriate action will be taken to ensure accountability and justice. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just concluded THG News Today. Not just for today, but for the week. The news was sponsored by Carl & Sons on St. Maarten, Delta Petroleum, and Ephesus on Nevis. I want you to have a safe, wonderful, blessed weekend. We'll be back with you on Monday morning, God's willing, at 6 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time for a similar presentation. My name is Mervyn Hanley. Have a good one.
Carl & Sons have been serving the people of St. Maarten for over 40 years. And the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Carl & Sons for simply the best. There are two locations, Colbay and on the Punfill. In Colbay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Punfill, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Carl & Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Colbay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Carl & Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you. Nevis, satisfy your sweet tooth at Feases, the cozy spot in Charlestown, known for its mouth-watering ice cream and dal parade. We are open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come in and sample our patties, sandwiches, air-fried wings with fries, hot dogs, rotis, and now our famous smoothies, in all flavors of course. And don't forget to try the famous bus-up shot and saltfish. It's Feases, located at the entrance to the Cotton Ginnery Mall in Charlestown, Nevis. They're also available by phone, so place your order by calling 1-869-665-2458. Don't ask about the rest, just try the best.